Now to the incredible story of a young woman from Somerset who's crowdfunding to save her own life. Georgia learned in September that she had leukemia and despite having a bone marrow transplant was told all treatment had failed. The year before, she had raised £65,000 for a teenage cancer trust, crowdfunding for her friend who died from cervical cancer. Well, Georgia and her family are now doing the same for her and are working to raise £150,000 for treatment not available on the NHS. A crowdfunding campaign, Pounds for Porge, was launched online last week and has already raised over £70,000, but is hoping to raise more to get the treatment she needs. Well, let's talk to Georgia and her sister Lottie now. Georgia, Lottie, really good to speak to you. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. So, Georgia, you had initially raised money for your friend who had tragically died of cancer, and then you were diagnosed with leukemia. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so Abby, just before she passed away, said that she wanted to raise some money for the charity that had sort of looked after her in the final days. So that's what we did, and we threw a massive fundraiser for her, which she was able to come to. And we just had an overwhelming response, and loads more people came than we ever expected. So that was a couple of years ago, and then in September, I got diagnosed with a leukemia. And I've gone through, as you said, treatment and a bone marrow transplant, which unfortunately hasn't worked. And then we were told there was sort of only a glimmer of hope because it had come back with quite a bit of force. And now we're just started the new drug, which we've been fundraising for, which will allow me to get onto a trial in London, hopefully. When you were initially diagnosed, just tell us how that changed and affected your life. I just thought, here we go again, another one of us sort of out of my friendship group is going to die. It's been horrendous. Lottie, what has this meant for the family?
It's been very hard for the whole family, really, obviously mostly for Porge, but yeah, it's been a bit of a shock. But we're here, we're doing all that we can to make sure that she comes out the other side of this, and we're pretty confident that we're going to be able to do it.
Georgia, why do you need to raise this money? Why can't you get it on the NHS? So I'm not sure of sort of the exact details, but at the moment it's not a registered drug with the NHS, and I don't know the reasons for that because that's sort of a deeper level than I've got knowledge of. But we couldn't use it as compassionate use either because they'd used all of those sort of applications. So it comes at a cost of £36,000 per round. And yeah, it's not available anywhere for anybody in the country at the moment. Do you think the option should be made available to you? Yeah, I think it definitely should be. NHS should all be free, but obviously it's very tricky. I don't really understand the drugs world and how different drugs come into use and when they become free and when they become when they're chargeable. Lottie, just looking at some figures, and it appears that Georgia's not alone. If you look at the Just Giving website, for example, they say that between 2015 and 2016, the number of appeals set up by patients with cancer and their families have gone up 7-fold. What is your reaction to that? Are you surprised by that?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not entirely sure if that's because there's just more science out there and more innovation, so there's more drugs being developed, or if that's because there's more cancers, and so they need to develop more drugs, or it might be the current government situation and the funding that's available to the NHS, but I wouldn't like to really comment on that.
Sure. George, you've already raised some money. Tell us how you've been doing it and how you hope to raise more money.
Well, it's not been me. I've been in hospital for most of the time, so it's been Lottie doing all the fundraising with a team of my friends, CVF, which is my group of friends, and all the rugby girls and some of Lottie's friends as well. And obviously the rest of the family, so I can't take any credit for the fundraising this time round. OK,
sis, I understand you're all rugby fans. How have you been raising money?
So she says she can't take the credit, but it is absolutely on her, it's her name. And the fact that she did such an amazing job last time, people are so willing to come forward and donate. So Chew Valley Rugby Club and the Chew Valley Cats especially, which Georgia is actually the manager of the team there, they've been incredible. I've just actually come away from doing a bit of a count of what they took over the weekend, and it was over £4,500 from that rugby club alone. Their team captain, Hannah Pierce, had an idea to do odd socks. So really simple idea. The players were just playing in odd socks and paying £5 to do so. And it was initially just going to be at Chew Valley, but it is spread around the whole of the Southwest. I think the last count was about 48 teams that took part. Primary schools in the region are doing it this Friday, so if any more wants to get involved, that'd be really great. So the rugby community has really responded, and other sporting communities are starting to get involved, which is really great too.
Georgia, were you surprised by the reaction that you've had, all the support that you're getting and everybody mucking in and getting involved?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping some people would help. I like to think I've got a few friends out there, but I didn't realise it would be this massive. It's been crazy. It's quite mind-boggling. It's just blown out of proportion, really. Everybody's been so good, and even strangers donating, people that I don't even know that well are just offering their services and offering to do their own fundraisers. And obviously I'm hoping lots of people will be going to the main fundraiser in a couple of weeks. Yeah,
sure. You've clearly got more than one or two friends. Lottie, if somebody does want to get involved, if somebody does want to donate, how can they do that?
Okay, so initially we've got our GoFundMe page, which is www.gofundme.com/pounds for Porge. So if you want to make a donation, which would be amazing, please go on and do so there. And please write who you are and where you're from, because we'd love to hear and we'd love to thank people. Apart from that, we've got fundraisers going on all around Chew Valley, which is where we're from, and the Bristol area. The main one coming up in a couple of weeks at the rugby club. But if you go to our Facebook page, which is also Pounds for Porge, there's a list there of things that we were hoping to get donated, services and marquees, etc. And if you want to volunteer to help, please have a look on there and keep up to date with all of the events that are being run in the next few weeks.
And Georgia, finally, your message to those people who would want to get involved.
Just thank you in advance, really, because everybody getting involved is the reason it's gone so big, and we've raised so much money so quickly. And obviously that'll make the day great, and they can have lots of things going on for kids and adults, and music, food, a bit of sport, a bit of everything, just so everybody has a really good time, as well as making some much needed funds.
Yeah.
OK, Georgia and Lottie, Bryant, many thanks indeed for your time. The very best of luck with the treatment as well. We can just show you the website as well if you do want to donate for a very worthy cause. Weather now.